Hi and welcome to another Manna Kitchen. Super excited to be sharing some of my very favourite recipes that people are always asking for tonight. Tonight we are doing better winter cravings. So I know that we all do crave things. For me, I'm apparently 37% Scottish, so for me potato is something that I crave a lot. So tonight there are two recipes that have great ways of having potato that are better for you and won't be so bad on your waistline. Apart from that, I just wanted to let you know that we are in the process of uploading our Manna Haven videos, our past videos. This is number 24, Manna Kitchen 24, I can't believe that. And we're uploading them to YouTube at the moment because we can't actually keep them on Facebook anymore. There's a new policy, so we have to put them somewhere else. So hopefully these will be on YouTube very soon. Okay, getting straight into it. Tonight I am wanting to really celebrate fibre. So fibre is super protective for us. And in fact, the more fibre that is present in our food, the more slowly we eat, the slower our blood sugar rises, the more full we feel, and super important to make sure that we have fibre in our food. Just as an example, I just want to show you these three products here, down here. So we've got whole apples, and we've got 100% apple puree that my friend Debbie McKay made. Thank you so much. And this is 100% apple juice. So if there were a label, and there is a label on this one, each one of them would say 100% apple, and that wouldn't be a lie. However, for me to eat one of these is going to take me a lot longer than to have an equivalent of one apple of puree, or to have the equivalent of apple juice. So because the fibre slows my eating down, and when the fibre slows my eating down, it means that the blood sugar is much more gentle release, and it also means that when I'm chewing, my teeth will not actually break all of the cell walls. So a lot of the fibre will go through completely intact because the cell walls of the fruit and veggies, that's the fibre. So a lot of it will go through intact, which means my microbiome will be super excited about it. Really, really excited, because that fibre will feed my microbiome and keep my microbiome really happy. And before we start our first recipe, it's interesting to know that the puree is eaten 10 times quicker than the whole apple, and the juice is eaten 20 times quicker than the whole apple. And even if scientists have gotten people to slow down and eat the puree and drink the juice in the same amount of time it takes someone to eat an apple, their blood sugar will still spike, even though this is a completely natural 100% apple product. So really important to keep our fibre intact wherever we can, and we're going to do that as much as we can tonight. So I just thought that was really important and just a nice visual to remember.
I can go home already.
Mark!
I'm done.
You're done. You've learned everything that's necessary. You're not going to taste? No tasting?
Yeah, I'm staying.
Oh, good. I'm glad he's staying.
No, go on.
Alright, we're going across this way because we are first of all going to make potato and leek soup. As you're going past, stop to look at this beautiful produce that my darling friend Heidi brought from her garden, organic produce. She brought me these little tomatoes. Look at these beautiful little tomatoes. And she brought me heaps of snap peas. These are my favourite. I won't eat one now, but they're a great snack. If you're out and you're hungry, grab a few of those, rinse them off with some drinking water, and they're so... Are we still live?
Yeah. Back again.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
Alright, back again. Sorry.
That's alright.
Just don't say words that sound like Siri.
Oh, okay. Well, you just said it.
I know.
Okay, so to save time, in this pot, so this is my chunky leek and potato soup, and we are not going to blend it. You can blend it if you like, but in order to keep as many of those cells intact, we are actually going to not mash. We're just going to do a slight mash, but keep most of it intact. All right, so in there, I actually have a full leek. So here's a leek like this. So a full leek. Aren't they beautiful? Leeks are beautiful. They're just so silky and soft, and they're so tasty. And they're actually better on your gut than onion. They're a little bit more gentle on your gut. So for myself with Crohn's, when I'm having an episode and I want really gentle food, I'll have leek and potato soup, which is basically just leek, dill, potato, and a little bit of onion. So But we're adding a little bit more tonight to make it a bit more exciting. But yeah, leeks are your friends and they're so tasty. Alright, so in the pot we already have, can Julian see? We already have 1 leek and 1 onion with a tablespoon of olive oil. Always extra virgin Australian olive oil. You've heard me say that many times before. This is one of my favourite brands. So that's in there, and we have cooked that down for about 5 minutes, just until it was just really soft and not too much brown. To that I'm going to add a little bit of salt. So I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to add, so dill comes in these packets like this, and I've chopped probably 3/4 of it, and I'm going to add that now, and I've kept aside for garnish some of the nice little soft tendrils on the end. So this has actually got a lot of the stalks in it, the soft stalks, so they're completely fine, and they'll soften down in the pan as well. So I'm actually going to put that in there, and because this was done a little bit earlier, I'm going to put a tiny bit of water in there, just to keep it all soft and happening. Use my Romanian spoon. How gorgeous is this? It's so rustic. My sister-in-law's mum goes to Romania every year, and she brought me back this gorgeous spoon. Thank you so much, Zena. Okay, so we've got the dill in there. We just want it to cook until it's fragrant. Can you smell it, Mark? Can you smell the fragrance? Excellent. Paying great attention.
Definitely stirring the pot.
I am stirring the pot, Mark. I am stirring the pot. As are you. Okay, so the dill is, softening up a little bit. I can smell it. It smells great. Let me just boil the jug again. Make sure it's pretty close to being boiled. A great trick that I learnt from Jamie Oliver is just boil your jug. Boil your jug, and it'll be so much quicker to cook if your jug is already boiled. Quicker than bringing water to boil in a pot. All right. So while we're waiting for that, I think we've added all of that in that we need to. Potatoes, of course. But we're going to add those in with the 7 cups of boiling water. So the bit that makes this recipe really sing, which I love, is the cashew cream. So it's a savoury cashew cream that you put in on top of the soup. So it's got 3/4 of a cup of cashews, 1 tablespoon of Marcel stock powder. So this is a vegan stock powder. This is the chicken-like flavour. So a tablespoon of that. We're going to put in some tamari, and I think this might have been badly measured. It's 2 tablespoons instead of 2 teaspoons. So I'm actually going to put the 2 teaspoons that the recipe says, which is about that much. And we're going to put in 1 cup of water. So it's very simple. And now we're going to blend it until it's nice and creamy. Ready to add as soon as the potatoes are done. So I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes and come back and check the potatoes in 20 minutes. So my timer will remind me. We've got this on nice and low. So that was about 7 or 8 cups of water that I put in there from my jug, which is about the maximum that my jug takes. If you like, sometimes I do, but I won't tonight. Sometimes you can add a can of butter beans, so just drain them. You can either add them into the blender, or more intact fibre, you can just pop them in with the potato when it's already cooked. So I'm not going to do that tonight, but that's just another way of adding more beans to our diet. And beans, we know, are protective for just about everything. Heart health, blood pressure, slimmer waists, longer life. So yeah, beans, get into them. I put edamame beans in my smoothies every morning because I really love beans. All right, so Mark,
Yes.
since you're there, make yourself useful
Yeah.
and put that on the table behind you.
I'm just trying to sit me down.
Oh,
I refuse.
Oh, that can go as well. All right, so we are going to make dessert now. So life is uncertain, so eat dessert first, or we're going to make it second. But we are making one of my favourite new recipes that I have developed in the last few months that I know everyone here loves. And I know a few of them are very, very excited to get the recipe and watch it being made. So I'm making my gluten-free vegan chocolate mud cake. So yummy, so yummy. All right, so over here. There's cheering in the background. I can hear it. So first thing I need to do is I've already turned my oven on, and this is linseed meal, and I actually, where did I put it? I actually grind it up and keep it in my fridge, so it doesn't go rancid if it's in your fridge. Buy the linseed whole. Let me just grab. So Kat orders this for me in big containers, and I decant it down into these tubs. So that's my linseed, and it so long as it's cool in my cupboard, it won't go rancid. But once you blend it, once you grind it like that, it will start to go rancid, so it needs to stay in the fridge. And the reason why I love linseed, and I use it in my smoothies and all sorts of things, and my desserts as well, is it's really, really high in omega-3s, which is great for just about everything, including really healthy skin. So,
Is that the stuff you put in our morning smoothies for my hair growth?
well, it hasn't worked yet, but the packaging doesn't say it's for hair growth.
Yeah,
So,
his skin looks amazing.
Thanks, mate.
It does.
yeah, his skin looks good.
His skin looks great.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is, before we start making the rest of it, we need to soak 4 tablespoons of linseed. This is like our egg replacement. So we need to soak it in 9 tablespoons of warm water. So I know 9 tablespoons is half a cup and 1 tablespoon. Because a quarter of a cup is 4 tablespoons. So half a cup and 1 tablespoon. I'm just going to stir that, and I'm going to sit it over on the side and let that sit because it's going to get quite thick. The reason why our smoothies in the morning get very thick if we don't drink them straight away is because the linseed thickens really, really well. Yes, Julian, if you get to your smoothie late, that's why you have to eat it with a spoon.
10 o'clock smoothie.
Yeah. When you get busy. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to do the wet ingredients first. So into our wet ingredients, we're going to put half a cup of rice bran oil, a cup of coconut cream, so this coconut cream is the one that, I used to love the one from Aldi, but I'm very sorry Aldi, this is the first time that I'm actually going to say something negative about Aldi. I love your products, I really do, but something went wrong with the coconut cream at Aldi. I just don't know what happened, and so now I have switched to this one. This is now my favourite coconut cream, and Kat, hello Kat, orders it for me in big slabs. She picks it up for me and I grab it from Manna sometimes. So yeah, this is my new favourite. It's just consistently creamy. Even in winter I can shake it and it's pretty liquid.
Yeah, that's the one I use too.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Alright, so back to this. We're going to add, where are we? Going to put in some vanilla essence, 2 teaspoons. We're going to put in a quarter of a cup of almond milk. I love the almond milk from Aldi, which is this one here. So, yeah, nice and creamy. I really like it. Doesn't have sediment in the bottom. And we're going to put in some date paste. So, this date paste is made by soaking equal parts water and equal parts dates. Just halved dates to make sure there's no seeds. My darling mum halved like 8 packets of dates for me this afternoon, which was so lovely. And you soak it. You soak a cup of dates in a cup of boiling water. So this was done earlier today. And then you just mash it. And you just keep mashing it. And eventually all of that liquid gets incorporated with all of the dates. And because I'm mashing it and not using a blender, remember we talked about before the fibre? So when we mash it like that, we're actually keeping some of the cells intact, and we're going to keep some of that fibre intact. The structure of the fibre will stay intact. And date paste is great. I use it in porridge, I use it in cakes, I use it in waffles. You can even put it over the top of waffles. Yeah, just keep it in the fridge. Date paste goes in the fridge and it'll last for like 3 or 4 weeks easily. I'm going to put it in the fridge right now. Okay, so back to here. We just put in a cup of date paste. So there's lots of fibre in that. So usually when you make a chocolate cake, you're not going to have a lot of fibre. But the fibre, again, like we said before, is protective. And so this will help, even though this is a cake that you should never make when you're going to be alone all weekend. Mark? Yes. You should make it when there's people around to share, because even though it's vegan and gluten-free, it's quite calorically dense. So it's a sharing cake. But yes, the fibre in here and the way we serve it, I'll show you later, will actually be slightly...
It's what type of dense?
Calorically dense.
Oh, what is that?
Calories, so lots of calories rather than nutrient dense. Okay, so
That's not a problem.
yes. So I kind of like to say I'm a nutritarian, you know. Yes, I eat plant-based, but you can be vegan or vegetarian and drink Coke, eat Oreos. So if you're thinking about the nutrients rather than, you know, the products, you actually nutritarian. So yes, so that's it. No, I've heard it talked about before. Possibly I haven't talked about it here. Okay, so that's our wet ingredients done. Rice bran oil, coconut cream, date paste, almond milk and vanilla essence. So that's, I'm going to put that over there like that. And now we're going to do dry ingredients. So we're going to put in a cup of gluten-free self-raising flour from Aldi. And we're going to put in 3/4 of a cup of buckwheat flour, which has a lot more fibre in it, but it's a little bit heavy if I use just buckwheat. So buckwheat flour. My favourite gluten-free flour, actually, buckwheat flour. It makes the best pancakes and waffles, gluten-free ones. This is a cup of coconut palm sugar. I think I might need a spoon. Now, usually in a cake, you probably put 1.5 to 2 cups of sugar in, but because we've got date paste, we don't need to add as much. And coconut palm sugar does have more nutrition in it than your normal sugar. However, it's still a processed source of sugar. So that's why this is special occasion dessert and not to be made by yourself on the weekend. Okay, so we've got, and cocoa powder. I have something very special tonight, which I'm very excited about using. So this is cocoa powder that Julian brought back from the Solomon Islands. I think this one, isn't it? Is it the Solomons? Bougainville. No, Bougainville. Yeah. So from PNG. So half a cup.
Top notch.
I know. How exciting is that? Cocoa powder.
Organic as, man.
I know. Julian visited. Did you visit any of the cocoa farms there?
Yeah.
Okay, so half a cup. I'm going to put extra in because it's so special. It's a bit more granulated than the ones that you usually get, but hey, that probably means good things. It's not as powdered. Okay, so we're going to mix that through. And we're going to put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of salt. The salt is very important for flavour in a chocolate cake. When I was a little girl and my mum would put salt in a dessert, I would think that's ridiculous, but salt is actually important in dessert. Even if it's just a little bit. Okay, so that's our dry ingredients and our wet ingredients. And now we just put the dry into the wet, like this. It's a good idea to put the dry into the wet because if you put the wet into the dry, there's always something on the bottom that gets stuck. The dry bits just kind of don't get picked up. Don't forget to put the linseed in, Melinda. Okay, and the linseed. So that's been soaking and it's just got nice and thick. Okay, so that's the egg replacement. That will 10 minutes in the soup. I'll check the soup. Okay. I think the Bougainville cocoa doesn't make it quite as dark, but that's alright. It will still taste amazing. Okay, so there's our batter. And we're going to put in, so these are my 2 favourite they're not labelled vegan or plant-based, but when you read the ingredients, they actually don't have any dairy or other animal products in them. So, you know, this one's from Aldi, and I buy this one from Coles or Woolies when it's on sale. So yeah, check the ingredients labels. The shorter the better. So this one here has only got 4 ingredients, whereas this one's got a few more, only 1 or 2 more. But yeah, it doesn't have to say vegan to be vegan, just check the ingredients. So what I'm doing now is I have chopped up 4 of these. So that's the handy thing about this, is that they come in like little sachets like that, which is also a little bit dangerous for snacking, so you have to have good self-control. So yes, I've chopped up 4 of those, and I'm going to put those in there now, like that. And they get all yummy and melty in the oven, and some of them will stay nice and melty in the oven after it comes out. It's so good. Okay, now Heidi is going to pass me that tray, please. Thank you so much. Everyone needs a Heidi. Oh my goodness, thank you, Heidi. So, pouring this in here. So this makes 2 small round cakes, or it will make 1 big slab. So this is a slab. I'm making a slab. But the ones I'm going to show you soon are the ones that I made earlier, and I made from the same batch. I made 2 small round ones.
Melinda?
Yes.
How long do you bake it for?
Well, in 190 degrees, it has to be in for about 23 minutes, or until the skewer comes out clean.
Okay.
So you don't want it to be soggy in the middle, but you don't want it to be hard and dry. So about 23 minutes in my oven. Okay. But good question, Mark. Very practical question. Okay, so that, you need to smooth it out. So a vegan cake, it's important that you smooth it out. If it's not vegan, it will probably settle on its own with all the butter and egg in it. But this one, you need to smooth it out. So there we go. And now I'm going to ask someone in my audience to do a timer. Marani, could you do a timer for 23 minutes for me, please? So I'm going to stick this in the oven. Okay, now let's, how much time have we got? No, it's going well. Okay, so we're going to make the ganache that is on top of our chocolate mud cake. So here is a little cake that I made earlier. I won't eat that one right now. So I made 2 of these with that one recipe. You can see it's a darker chocolate colour, because I didn't use the Solomon Island chocolate powder this afternoon, but I thought I'd just use it tonight. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make the ganache that goes on top of this. It's super easy, so come around this way and I'll show you how I do it. We might just do a little, so you can see what I'm doing. Makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so I have been just over boiling water, so that is 120 grams of the Lindt dark chocolate, 70% cocoa dark chocolate. So we're going to put that there like that. So it's already melted. If you have time, it will just melt over boiling water, but if you haven't got time, then you just put the flame on and it will melt quickly. So we're just going to put a pinch of salt in with that. We're going to put a dash of vanilla, and I just use the imitation stuff now. Unless it's something really special, then I use vanilla paste. So just a little tiny bit of that. And now I'm going to use about half a cup of coconut cream. So I'll grab my spatula. I'm just going to pour it in like that, and then just mix it through. So it's a really easy ganache to make. Five minutes for the soup. And you just stir it through until it's all a nice smooth consistency and it's all the same colour. And once you've done that, I can tell already that Mark is wanting to reach over and lick out the bowl, and you will have that opportunity, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Very soon.
I'm in debt.
Okay. make sure we don't get any water on top of our cake. Just going to sit this here like this. Just take the water off the bottom. And then we just pour this over the top of the cake. Like this. It's important to leave the cake in the tin because otherwise it will just fall off the sides. Which you might want to do, but then there won't be much left on top. So if you leave the cake in the tin while you're doing this, and then later on, when the ganache has set a little bit, you can take it off. Take it out of the tin. I'm not very good at doing this upside down, am I? All the more for you, Mark.
You can.
So then we just spread it out, just like that. How good does that look? Yum! I'm not going to lick on camera. Looks like Mark's desperate for the...
So what made it shiny?
The coconut cream made it shiny. Yeah. So, now I would just sit that aside. I'm going to sit it just over there. Actually, I'll give it to Heidi. Heidi probably will be able to look after it better than just leaving it on the bench. Too close to Mark. Thank you. And Heidi, could you grab me the other one, please? No, the chocolate cake. So the thing that will help you to be a little bit protected when you're eating cake is to have a lot of berries with it. So what my lovely Heidi is bringing here is this is one that I made earlier, and you can see all of the berries. So there's heaps of fibre there, and this is the one that we're going to chop up later and eat. Yes, yum! This is our chopping up one for later. So I will later on. Might just pop it over the side. Later on we're going to chop this one up and I'm going to have a little taste. Yum. Okay, so that is the end of that recipe. I'll give you that one. Can I have, just the next. Thanks, beautiful. Thank you, lovely. Back over here. Now before we start the next recipe, what we might do just quickly check. How was the licking, Mark? Did you get?
Everyone tried some.
Oh, you're so kind. Just sharing.
Thank you.
More cake for you later.
It's so smooth. I think smoothness is the thing, isn't it?
All right, let's have a look. Yeah, it's really smooth. Okay, let's check. Yes, so in order to see if this is ready for the cashew, we just poke the skewer in and it's nice and soft and it breaks pretty easily. So that potato is ready. So I am going to grab my cashew cream. I might just give it one more blend. I'm a bit worried there's a few little lumpy bits in the bottom. There are a few little ones in the bottom, but that's okay. Intact fibre after all. Oh, actually, something that I do in order to, sorry Heidi, false alarm. It'll just clean it a little bit, is I just put a little tiny bit of water in the bottom of the, and then just, because it's soup, it doesn't matter if we have a little bit more water in there. And it does clean out all of that yummy cashew cream. Okay, thank you, Heidi. Okay, so let's stir that through. Stirring. You can see it's sort of turned into this yummy, creamy soup now. And cashew will actually help to thicken the soup a little bit, which is great. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to get my masher. Oh, look at that. The soup timer. Done. So, remember I said before, you can blend it. You can get a stick blender and just blend it, but I'm just going to mash that a little bit. I can feel that some of those potato pieces are still a little bit hard, so I might leave it on for a bit longer. Could someone do a timer for me for 10 minutes? Anyone? Yeah, thank you, Fran. Okay, so I'm going to just leave that on for a little bit longer. because I want that potato to be really nice and soft. Hey, put the lid back on. Alright, now we are going to make Lisa's cashew nuggets. So Lisa is a gorgeous friend of mine. Hello Lisa, from Toowoomba, although I think she's in transition. She might be moving towards Brisbane. And she developed this recipe 10 years ago, I think, and it's gorgeous. I love it, and it's a nice little thing to have in the fridge and just to grab a few and have it with a side salad or have it with the Wok-On greens that I'm going to show you how to make later on. High protein, high fibre, and really tasty. So remembering to keep our fibre intact, great for our gut, and it helps to slow down, make us full and slow down that digestive process. Okay, so we need a fry pan. Actually, we might use a big fry pan, might be good. Use a big one. Okay, so we're going to do the dry ingredients first. So we're being cashew nuggets, have cashews. So this is 2 cups of raw cashews. So, and Aldi are the cheapest for raw cashews. 2 cups of those, and we're going to put.
Just keep talking clearly and at the camera.
Oh, and at the camera.
Sometimes when you turn to the side, that
We can't hear.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heidi.
Talk
Brilliant.
at the camera.
Okay, at the camera. Thank you. All right, so 2 cups of cashews. We're going to put in some coriander, some ground coriander, 3 teaspoons of ground coriander. Lisa always loved coriander, and I do too. We're going to put in some chickpea flour, so 1/3 of a cup of chickpea flour, so made from ground chickpeas. So extra protein there. And we're going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So there we go. And now we're going to blend that until the cashews are kind of fairly fine, but not fine enough that all of the cell structure is gone. I don't know. I thought it. Yeah, that's Lisa's mum. So Nyla and Lisa and I used to run cooking classes for like up to 120 people 5 or 6 times a year when we lived in Toowoomba, and they were the best. I've got Heidi now, and she's wonderful. But I wish I could have Heidi and Lisa and Nyla. That would be nice. So you can see the cashews are fairly fine. There will still be some little cell walls intact in there because it's not, you can see there's a few little lumpy bits. So we're going to put that in here like this. And to that I'm going to add, now the recipe calls for, I think it's 1 1/3 cups of breadcrumbs. But because this is gluten-free, you can either use, so these ones here, so these are gluten-free breadcrumbs. But a cheaper option is to use wheat bix, gluten-free wheat bix. And I just blend it. I just blend it and I make like little crumbs like that. And I apologise to the quality control people who make sure the wheat bix all stay in the same shape, because I think it would be very upsetting for them to know what I did to my wheat bix in order to use them for this recipe. But anyway, that could be a new product though, Sanitarium. Could be a new product to, you know, all the little crumbs after you've made your gluten-free wheat bix, you could sell them as gluten-free crumbs, maybe. Okay, so we're just going to stir those dry ingredients together like that. And now we're going to do the wet ingredients. And I'm going to turn this on. We need it to be hot. Now there is a lot of celery in these. So I think Nyla and Lisa might have called these celery bites originally, but I like calling them Lisa's cashew nuggets. So, and make sure you use lots and lots of the leaves, because the leaves actually have a lot of naturally occurring sodium, so you don't have to use as much salt if you use lots of the celery leaves. So let's pop all of the, oops, a lot of celery and an onion, 1 onion, and 2 tablespoons of parsley. I like to chop it because if it's whole, sometimes it doesn't get completely chopped. Tablespoon of olive oil, extra virgin Australian olive oil, and we're going to use 3 tablespoons of tamari. So you can use just normal salt reduced soy sauce if you like, but this is gluten free, and I know I have people here who need gluten free. So 2, 3. And now we're just going to blend this. Chunky, but that's fine. Maybe I'll do one more blend after we pull those ones down from the side. There is so much fibre in there. I can hear my gut singing right now. So now what we do, don't be tempted to just throw this in on top of the dry ingredients. You need to fry it off for a little bit first. I'll put it in here. You need to kill that sort of raw onion flavour. You don't want the raw onion flavour, you want the nice sautéed onion and celery flavour. We're just going to saute it long enough to kind of seal that liquid there to get that water to evaporate. So a couple of minutes. Depending on your celery, the other day I was making this and there was a lot of water. So we're just going to let that sit there for a little while and cook. While it is, I want to chat to you about nuts. So almonds are my favourite, my absolutely favourite nut, especially if I'm just wanting to grab something at the end of a meal, or something at the beginning of a meal actually, or something at morning tea. I don't like to snack, but 6 or 7 almonds are fantastic, and they're the lowest calorie content of all of the nuts, but nuts are very, very heart health protective. Once upon a time, like going back 60 or 70 years, I'll be right with you, Mark, the heart health organisations around the world used to say, don't eat nuts. They're too high in fat, they're not good for you. But the Adventist Health Study actually found, so Adventist Health Study, I think we're in our 4th one now, out of Melinda private hospital in California, in America. So they actually found that eating more nuts, the people who ate more nuts actually had less heart disease and less heart attacks. So I'm not saying you should eat buckets of nuts, but like a handful. So each day it's healthy to eat about as many nuts as you can fit in your hand and close your fingers over. So about that many. So not of all the different kinds of nuts. That's all the nuts in total for the day. And the other interesting thing is that when you eat whole nuts like that, just raw, that you actually find, or that they have found, that 30% of the cells in those nuts go through your intestines whole. So that's great news for your gut health and for your microbiome, because they're like, woohoo, intact fibre, and they're very happy. And also that 30%, the calories aren't released in that 30%. So it feeds your microbiome, but 30% of the calories in the nuts won't actually, add to your waistline. So yes, love nuts. The other thing I wanted to point out, this is not something that I'm suggesting that you eat a lot of, but if you are someone who struggles with this, and this is highly processed, this has all of the fibre and all of the liquid stripped out. Fibre and water are the 2 things that help to fill you up and make you feel satisfied. So things like this, once you pop, you can't stop. Isn't that what they say with Pringles? Yep. It's like, maybe you should have 2 or 3, but who can stop at 2 or 3 Pringles? So Yes, yes. You also like the Pringles? I know. Sometimes, special occasions, I don't have these in my kitchen because they're in my cupboards because they're a bit dangerous to have. But if you love salty, something that I really enjoy is pistachios. So if you really like salty, if salty kind of snacks are something that you love, a little handful of pistachios is delicious. Just beautiful. That salty, and there's the natural occurring fat in there. Fantastic. So remember that next time you're kind of feeling like you want something, a salty snack. Being a nut, 30% of the fibre, the cell walls will stay intact and will not, be released as calories, which is great news. Whereas eating this, 100% will be released as calories very soon after eating it. Okay, back to here. I think we are, yes, it's a little bit browned. Most of that water is gone, so I'm going to turn that off. And now I'm going to add it to my dry ingredients. Such simple ingredients in this, but so yummy. Look at that, you can still see the fibre in the celery, all those little celery fibres there. It's a very underrated vegetable, celery. And I'm going to wipe that out with a paper towel because I need it to do some frying in a minute. I might need that potato. Right. Okay, so stirring this through. Usually I would be doing this when it wasn't quite so hot. Hopefully it'll be cool enough for me to form into balls for you, or into little nugget shapes. So you can see those dry ingredients, they're harder to pick up if you haven't got the wet ingredients in there first, but we couldn't get the wet ingredients in there first because we had to do it in this order. So that is just about it. You might need, if you're using normal breadcrumbs, you might need a little bit more. So what you need is a consistency that is thick enough that you can pick it up and you can make little nugget shapes out of it. And it's looking pretty hot, isn't it? Pretty steamy. So it's like, oh! Yeah, my fingers are saying, I think you need to wait. Let's check the potato, the leek and potato soup while we're waiting. And that's burning my fingers now too. I think that, how are we going with that extra time on the soup? It's done? Great. Alright, let's turn it off. So we're going to leave that soup there for the moment. We'll come back to it later. We'll turn this on again. Oh, that's looking like our gas is running low, Julian. That'd be fun for you to run out there with the camera, out there with my phone. So a little bit of olive oil in my pan. And I'm just going to wash my hands again. They were clean before, but just wash them again. Be brave. So, if it sits longer, it will actually get thicker. So what I like to do is kind of make little sort of slightly uneven nugget shapes out of these. So hopefully they'll cook because it should sit a bit longer and have the more of that liquid sucked up by the Wheat Bix crumbs, but I'm just going to pop that in the pan. So I'm just going to make a few of these. Who is gluten intolerant here? I know Heidi is. Are there anyone else? Oh, Heidi. I'm making these just for you and me.
My house is
It's all right. Everyone else has others over there on the side that I made earlier. Yeah. Actually, Heidi, could you bring them over, the other ones? Thank you. So, I mean, if you want to make them bigger, you could make them bigger, more like a croquette if you like, but let me just make 4. Thank you. It's done, 23 minutes? Okay, great. Let's make a little. A bit sticky. Alright, so here are some that I made earlier. Going to check on the cake. Good. So apparently the cake has had its allotted time, 23 minutes. So let's pull it out and see if so see when I stick it in, it comes out clean. And I tap it like that, it's bouncy. So that's perfect. Done. We're going to leave that over there on the side. Now obviously, if I'm going to put ganache on it, and I will tomorrow, it's way too hot to do now. So to put the ganache topping on, you need to wait till it's a lot cooler. Now let's check these. So because they have nuts in them, they do brown up pretty quickly. So that one there especially. Oh, it's a bit sticky there. And there. Okay, so that is the, maybe I should do a couple more, because Heidi and I want, yes? Oh no, it's alright. Thank you, Mark. So I'm just going to do a couple more. So yes, you can see lots of green in there. We know that green leafy veggies are very, very good for us. The most, yep. Okay, the most nutrient dense. Okay, yes, we better keep moving. Goodness, I'm getting a little bit chatty tonight. Heidi, I might get you to come and watch these for me, darling. Thank you. Alright, let's make potato salads. Actually, no, I can't get you to watch them for me because I have to take them off. Because I actually need the spot. Yeah. So they will just have to, there's four there for us, that'll be okay. Let's put these over here. Oh. Yeah, sorry, because I need this spot here to make that. Alright, we're going to make hot potato salad. So I might give you that one. Did you just sneak one, Julian? I can see you. Did Mark sneak one too? No. Oh, Mark's behaving himself.
He wanted to.
Oh. Alright, so we haven't got our shallots. Where are our shallots? I know they're in here somewhere. My mum chopped them. Hello, shallots, where are you? Where are they? They're here somewhere. There they are. Okay, so. So this is, I'm doubling the recipe because there's a lot of people here. And one recipe serves 4 to 6 and we wouldn't be very happy with that. So shallots and parsley and olive oil and dill. So this is dry dill. We're going to come over to the little fry pan. We're going to turn it on. And I think we were just going to get the olive oil, weren't we, Julian? Okay. Olive oil, 2 tablespoons. This is a very quick recipe because I've already cooked the little chats potatoes. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Healthy fat, very, very important for, especially for women, for hormone balance and for healthy skin and general your body working well. So don't be scared of olive oil. So there we go. There's our shallots in. This is double the recipe. So I think this is like 9 shallots. The recipe's like 5 of them. So we're just going to put those in there. And parsley. And I'm going to put in a tablespoon of dill because I'm using a double recipe. And hey, why not have a little bit more because I love dill. Dill, and I think that's it for now. So, where's my... Just going to fry this off. And while we're waiting for that, Heidi, I will get you to come and stir this. We just want it to just wilt. Thank you, lovely. Watch that flame doesn't get you. Okay, we're going to go over this way and we're going to start on our Wok-On green. So, Wok-On green, I need the wok. Let me grab the wok. Still dipping. Lucky I love him, otherwise he'd be in so much trouble. Filling in. Oh, think of these, yes. Okay, look at all of these yummy things that we're putting in there. So, is it getting warm? Yes, it's getting warm. So this is just all the good stuff. Heaps of cruciferous vegetables, and I know I've told you this before, but I never get tired of saying cruciferous vegetables are protective against cancer. It's not saying you'll never get cancer if you eat cruciferous vegetables, but the likelihood goes way down. So get into the cruciferous vegetables. They're so good for you. Did I not bring my recipes? That's terrible. This is what happens when I don't have Heidi, when I've got Heidi doing something else. Okay, so we're going to put in some extra virgin olive oil into our wok. And then we're going to put in our Brussels sprouts. So I'm going to try to put them face down so that they go nice and caramelised. Now I know not everyone likes Brussels sprouts, so feel free, if you'd like to, you can use zucchini instead of Brussels sprouts. You can use asparagus. You could use, whatever green vegetable is your favourite. So, just of interest, who here does like Brussels sprouts? Oh, good. Oh, we have some. Excellent. That's great. Good to know. Yeah, what about you, Mark? Well, you might like these ones, Mark. You might. I'm just going to let the... I think I doubled this recipe, so I actually need to get a little bit more olive oil. Thank you. Alright, so a little bit more olive oil. I'm going to put the lid on. Let them do their thing over there. While we go and look at the potato salad again. Let's go back to the potato salad. So here are some potatoes that I steamed earlier. And I've steamed it in a steamer. So this is a steamer basket. So the potatoes don't actually come in contact with the water. So it just steams them, because when they come in contact with the water, sometimes some of the nutrition will leach out. You don't want that. You don't want to lose any of those yummy minerals. So I'm going to lift this off. It's still fairly warm, but not boiling hot. I'm going to put it in here like this. And you can see there, just sitting above the water. So that's a great way. And all of the skin is on. See how we've kept the skin intact? So most of the nutrition in the potato is in the skin and just under the skin. So just wash them well, but don't peel them. Now into these potatoes we're going to add a teaspoon of salt, and we're going to add some macel. So that's the vegan seasoning. Yes. And 2 tablespoons, which I'm not going to, oh no, I'll put a tablespoon here. 2 tablespoons of olive oil, extra virgin Australian olive oil. So macel is stock powder, vegan stock powder, and it's the vegan variety. Now I'm going to mix that through like this. So these are, because we have steamed them, these potatoes have retained all of their integrity, all their cells, all their water content. So because if you bake a potato, you do keep the skin and you keep the potato whole, but some of the water will go out. So you'll, this will fill you quicker. Not fill you quicker. It'll keep you feeling fuller longer than a baked potato will, because it has the water and the fibre both intact. Now we're just going to put those yummy herbs on top of the potato like that. Thank you so much, Heidi. And that is our potato salad right there like that. Now Mark, could you make yourself useful, young man?
Yes.
Could you please pass me?
Yes.
There's a white tray underneath the bench right
Yes.
there. Can you pass me the first one?
Yes, here it is.
Okay, because this looks so much prettier on a white tray.
Look at that.
Yum! All those green protective veggies. Oh, love them. Love them.
Can I show the audience?
What, show the audience that you're going to sneak one?
No, I'm sneaking, I promise. I'm just doing a drive-by.
Oh, you're doing a drive-by. I gotcha. Yum. Put this over here. Alright, now let's go quickly in our last couple of minutes and finish our last recipe. Okay, so you can see those Brussels sprouts are looking beautiful and bright green. We're going to add some broccoli, and we're going to add beans, and we're going to add some edamame, because, once again, beans are super protective for just about everything. All of the longevity all-stars in the whole world, every population that lives long, has some kind of beans in their diet. And now I'm going to add, I think it's 2 tablespoons. I think I've lost my recipe. We're going to put 3 in because we've got a few more. So this is our tamari again. Thank you. Yes, I'll get 4 in because we've got double. Can I do that? Look at those little Brussels sprouts. Look, they've got nice little tails with it. So good. Now we're going to put a little tiny bit of water in there, just a teeny tiny bit, just to make it steamy. We put the lid on, like that. And we're just going to wait for that. I think we're done. Okay, I'll give you that one back. Alright, let's go check on the soup. Ah, it's looking good. So creamy. And we have a little taste, just a little taste with a little tiny spoon. Just sometimes it needs just a little bit more of something. So, no, that's good. That's good. All right. I need this over here for the soup. Just put some fresh dill over the top. Like that. Yum. Roll. Some of those chunky bits. Yum. Oh, so good. So good. A bit more dill. Look at that. Yum. Now, these two ways here of having potato, I dare any McDonald's potato chip or any packet of Pringles to make you more satisfied than either of these will. They're such a good way to eat potato and you really should try them. Stick that over there like that. Now let's have a quick look at our Wok-On greens. Very quick, they are just about We're not careful, we're going to set up the smoke alarm, aren't we? Okay, now I'm going to add, I've turned off the heat, so the heat is gone. I'm just going to add a couple of handfuls of spinach. Spinach doesn't take long to wilt through, hardly any time at all. Look at those little Brussels sprouts. Oh, so yum. Look at that. It's so good. Okay, so that's the spinach wilted. And the thing that makes these greens sing beautifully is lemon zest. And Heidi just gave me 2 beautiful organic lemons, so I'm feeling very fortunate. This is the best little grater. My son Ethan found it for me. It grates in both directions. How clever is that? So going down and coming back is grating. So the zest of a lemon. I'm a huge fan of lemon zest. Oh, so good. The flavour is great. And there's vitamin C in lemon zest, and you've heard me say it before, but when you have vitamin C with your green leafy vegetables and your other green vegetables, it actually helps you to absorb the iron better. So there is our lemon. Stir that through. Put this on here. Oops. Cheated. Dear. Okay. Mark, can I give that to you?
Yes.
Thank you. Beautiful. I'm going to just wipe this because it's looking a little bit messy. Okay, and I think we are done. Oh, we're about 5 minutes late. That's okay. So there we have it. There is all
What's
about.
this
Oh,
for, Tony?
thank you, Heidi. Heidi's a legend. Well, I couldn't help myself. Red capsicum was really cheap today in the supermarket, so a bit more vitamin C on top of our greens. I thought, hey, I'm going to add some red capsicum, and the red and green look so good together. So if anyone wants extra, I'll leave it there. So there we are. Let's see if we can move our soup. 5 recipes in an hour and 5 minutes. And look at this variety and this This is satiating food. This is nutritional food. This is food that will fill you up and make you feel satisfied, and you won't be craving anything else after you've eaten this. I promise everyone who's here tonight, we're not going to be craving anything else after we've eaten this food tonight. And I'm just so grateful. Look at this variety. And as a Christian, I am so grateful to my creative friend who didn't just make all foods look exactly the same, but there's such incredible variety and such incredible flavour. And when you eat food as grown, intact, like this, you live long and you live well and you feel great. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I look forward to having you in my kitchen again in a couple of months. So that makes it October, I guess.
Not as much as we do.
Oh, thanks, Mark. Yes, we have fun here. Okay, see you. Bye.